In these uncertain economic times, it's easy to be worried about protecting your wealth, your hard-earned savings, and your family's financial future. Plunging interest rates, the devaluating dollar, and political unrest constantly threaten what you have worked hard to earn and all that you own. That's why now it's more important than ever to protect your assets and have the money you need to make your dreams come true. Welcome to the Global Wealth Fortress Report with successful global entrepreneur and wealth preservation expert Joel Nagel. Joel's helped thousands of people just like you protect what you have so that you can make even more and make your every dream come true. So, sit back and enjoy Joel Nagel's offshore expert advice on how you can live the good life at a great price, where the sun never sets on your financial fortress.
I mean, you're right on the cusp of President's Week now with incredible guests, incredible opportunities for meeting others and meeting new possibilities. Could you give a little bit of a synopsis? We've discussed this before, but I'd love to hear the latest.
Sure, Brian. Well, it's a work in progress. I mean, I've been really putting together President's Week now. This is the 25th anniversary, and we learn every year from it. We try to always make it better and better. And amazing this year. It's actually kind of humbling that not one speaker that we invited said no. I mean, every single speaker we invited. Yeah, and a lot of them had been to President's Week before. Not every year. Some come every few years, depending on if they have something new and different to say. But I think it's been such a good experience for them and for, I've had many speakers tell me, look, I came to be, on your faculty to speak, but I felt like I was the one that benefited because I learned so much. A lot of the people in these, we're in the same sort of macro industry, the international offshore industry, but everybody plays a different part. One person's talking about citizenship and second passports. Somebody else is talking about taxes. Somebody's talking about investment, residency, structures, it goes on and on. And this year, we're really happy that we're being joined by Dr. Ron Paul, two-time presidential candidate, former congressman from Texas. His son is Rand Paul, is U.S. Senator from Tennessee. And, he's at the age where he can go where he wants to go and speak where he wants to speak. And, we're honored that he wanted to come and speak with us. And sure. Same thing with Ed Griffin. The guy's going to be celebrating his 90th birthday with us. And, he's hugely in demand. He's very picky about where he goes and with whom he meets in this age. He told me he doesn't do airplanes because he refuses to wear a mask. And, but fortunately, he lives in Thousand Oaks, California, which I understand is about a 4-hour drive from Las Vegas. So he's going to get in his car and drive to come and see us. So we're really happy about that. Have 3 wonderful speakers in the tax area. They're all speaking about slightly different things, but largely will be bringing us up to date about some of the changes, the ones that and read about in the media, but also the sort of the hidden little gems that you have to know about to try to take advantage of or be concerned about to try to avoid. Darlene Hart, who is the president of a company called U.S. Tax based in Switzerland. They have expat offices all around the world in Tel Aviv, London, but they only serve U.S. Taxpayers. So she's a remarkable speaker. Christopher Braun, he's been among other things, a tax professor, and really, really keeps current on everything going on. He follows blow by blow what's going on in the Senate and the House. And, just some of the synopses he's written have been tremendous and helped me to stay abreast without reading 1,000-page, documents. Yeah. So those are the caliber of speakers.
You have all this free time.
So, it's probably a little late at this point to, think about buying airplane tickets and packing your bags. But we are offering through the Offshore Club a virtual registration. So I hope, and we have some some perks. If you sign up through the Offshore Club, you can choose to have a one-on-one consultation with up to 3 of our speakers, the speakers of your choice. You want to talk to a Swiss banker, you want to talk to myself, you want to talk to a passport expert, that does passports in Portugal or wherever, you can do that. And a lot of these people are charging $500, $1,000 or more for initial consultation. So that's a sort of a little perk for the Offshore Club
it's a
members.
big perk.
We're always trying to find ways to make it, attractive for.
It's extremely unique. Extremely unique. It's some may think it's a real niche environment, but that's the glory of it. And
exactly.
And these are the inventive opportunities that normal people, just normal situations, it doesn't come up. But here you're laying it out, and you perfected this.
Yeah, I mean, I think our strategy from the beginning has been to keep it small. It's relatively pricey, not because we just want to, gouge people. We actually pay out more than I think 100% of the registration costs. But you go to Vegas, you stay in a nice hotel, you have breakfast, lunch, dinner, coffee breaks, cocktail parties. Those numbers add up pretty fast. And the price point, I think, for a couple was around $4,000, and obviously that's not a price point for just anyone. No. I think our virtual registration is about $1,500, and you get those free one-on-one.
Incredible value. Incredible value.
Yeah, you won't make it to the dinners and the cocktail parties, but you'll see literally all of the programming, and you can participate. I mean, that's the thing. It's not a static thing. It's not a CD. It's not one-sided. You'll be able to participate just like everybody else in the audience, whether you're live or virtual. You can send in your questions, and the speakers are going to answer them real time. So, I would encourage anybody who's thinking about doing anything in the offshore arena, whether you want to buy a piece of property somewhere. We have guys like Mike Cobb who are true experts in advising people how to, establish a second home or plan B, plant their flag, whatever strategy you want to talk about. I mean, he's recognized as an expert. He speaks at groups and conferences all over the world. In fact, I had to work around his schedule because he's coming from a National Realtors Association conference in San Francisco. That kind of overlapped a little bit with our conference.
Yeah. Tough schedule that fella's got. First you got San Francisco, then you got LA, he's Vegas. Couldn't be better.
He's a road warrior. I always think.
As are you.
Yeah, I think I think maybe I rack the miles on longer trips because I run off to places like Europe and Asia, South America from time to time. But I think on the whole, he travels a lot more. He has a lot more shorter. So go to, Kansas and then Texas and Ottawa.
All over.
He bounces around way more than me.
For both of you, it's absolutely true that your experience shows, and for yourself as being a wealth expert, a wealth protection expert, you have to get out there in the world and see the world and see what the dangers are. So the kind of defenses you can build up. It's really an offense, actually, so that you're able to really, really guard yourself and be able to make the plays strategically that you want to make.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, look, there's no magic fairy dust to any of this stuff, but the main thing is by being proactive, you're going to make sure you're not the low-hanging fruit in any scenario, in a lawsuit scenario, in a scenario where, people are worried about things like their IRAs being liquidated against their will, whatever the issue is, we can look at it ahead of time and try to, like you say, proactively create a defense. Sun Tzu in his book, The Art of War.
Read it all the time. Got it right up here.
Yep. I mean, he basically said, look, before we worry about winning the war, we want to make sure we can't lose the war. And that's the way I view asset protection. I want to make sure that my clients can't lose the war. They don't necessarily need me to tell them how to invest their money. I'm not an investment advisor. I'm a wealth preservation expert. I'm an asset protection lawyer. I'm an estate lawyer. I'm a tax lawyer. I help with the defense. But if I can help a client sleep better at night, knowing their assets are protected and secure, then they can recruit their own offense, or we can help them recruit an offense to,
Sure.
to talk to them about ways to invest. Again, I have people that do that kind of thing for me. So I don't pretend to tell other people how to invest, but, I've been in this industry a long time, and, there's certain strategic elements, whether it's real estate, whether it's gold, whether, in more recent times, it's the crypto element, there's
Oh
certain
yeah.
things that are common to a lot of my clients, and I'm certainly happy to talk to anybody about those things as well, but I'm not a specific investment advisor. I am a specific asset protection advisor. So
Sure.
if you come to me, usually when we start talking to a client, we want to try to know what not only their hopes and goals and dreams are, but we also want to understand their fears and anxieties. What keeps
Yeah.
them up at night? Is it is it a lawsuit because they're in a litigious industry, like a doctor who delivers babies for a living? I had a guy come to me recently, and he said, I fear every day that I'm going to be awoken by the IRS kicking down my door. And as I got to know the client and his background, that fear was completely unfounded. I mean,
Yeah.
the guy's squeaky clean, pays all his taxes, and does everything
Good.
correctly. But you have to take people the way they are, and if that's his worry, then that's what we have to deal with when we talk about ways to protect his assets.
It's a shame that the way the environment is now, politically and otherwise, that it feels as though their average American citizen has their back against the wall. I mean, Carter talks about this a lot,
Yeah.
a sense of really feeling unsafe,
Yeah.
ill at ease, and but it's good to have folks like yourself there to be able to look at those fears and react accordingly.
Yeah, that's an interesting comment, and I would say, there's always clients out that they're like they're willing to spend $3 to save $1 in tax. I mean, but the reality is that is unusual, and that's the minority. Most of
Yeah,
my clients are, they're pretty happy and willing to pay their taxes. They really are.
sure.
But the IRS has become more than just the agency that enforces tax collection. It's become this, you know, shadow government. Talk about the rulers of the swamp. They have their
Right,
own army, they have their own police.
right.
Most other developed countries don't give their tax people guns and badges. And the fact that anybody should have to worry about their door being kicked in by a
Oh, yeah.
IRS agent is utterly ridiculous. I mean,
Yeah,
there are
yeah.
there are plenty of things that you do, if you do them and it's a crime, you should fear that, but it shouldn't be because of taxes. And
Yeah.
so I think now that's a bigger worry for a lot of people. It's not the payment of the taxes, it's this enforcement army, and what are they going to do to
Right,
me? And you're guilty until proven innocent.
right.
The IRS has routinely ignored people's constitutional rights, the right to
Mhm.
privacy, the right to be secure in your own papers and possessions as guaranteed by the Fourth Amendment, Fifth Amendment right against self-incrimination. The IRS ignores all of that. They come
Sure.
in, grab all your emails, they grab your bank accounts, they grab your credit card statements, they grab everything. And unfortunately, the courts haven't been as vigilant as maybe they should have been over the years, and putting the kibosh on that kind of stuff.
Well, they've made it. I mean, throughout our lifetimes, we've always heard how the IRS has made it more and more difficult for the average citizen to figure out their taxes. But it's true,
Yeah,
and
exactly.
that's where a lot of the fright comes in.
You
Uh,
look at what Ronald Reagan did, where he simplified the tax code, simplified the rates, and we had a huge
brilliant.
economic boom. Why? Because if you tell somebody, pay your whatever fair share, and you're not going to be hassled by the government, the vast majority of people are more than willing to do that. And
I agree with that.
um,
Yeah,
Reagan took us to 2, and then it was 3 tax rates. Now we're back to 7.
yep.
We're back to being the most progressive tax
It's
system.
almost if we're living in a dystopian universe where,
The pendulum swings one way, then it swings the other, and
it
and
it
you know,
does. It
one
does.
of one of one of my clients, he's an economic expert. He said, "Look, if if God only asked you to give 10%, I don't think the government should be able to demand more than 20. That's
the baseline.
that
That's a pretty good. You can't mess with that
yeah.
baseline.
But yeah, I mean, look, compliance would go up. I think you could have, you talk to any expert and they'll tell you, you could come up with some combination of much reduced tax rate, tax simplification. Maybe, some people think that a GST tax or a consumption tax would make sense. Personally, I'm not a huge consumption tax guy, but I see the reason for it. I mean, we have a lot of elements of our gray and black economy. You talk about people doing illegal things. Well, what about absolute criminals? What about drug dealers? What about, people laundering money and sex traffickers and all those people? In addition to committing a crime, they're also not contributing anything towards society. We spend our resources to try to chase after them. But if you had at least a partial consumption tax, you ask yourself, how much tax does the average drug dealer pay? Pretty sure the answer is zero. But the average drug dealer might drive a Mercedes Benz. And if we eliminated a lot of income tax and replaced it with a consumption tax, maybe they'd pay $15,000 or $20,000 in federal income tax based on the purchase of that vehicle. Right. So, and then by raising revenue that way, you could actually lower tax rates. I mean, I think it's ridiculous that anybody under, say $70,000 even has to file or pay any taxes, period.
I agree with that. I do agree with that.
It creates so much bureaucracy and so much paperwork to deal with these tens of
such little amount of money.
Yeah, exactly.
That's the problem. Far greater amount of money to adjudicate all that or to administer all that.
And then think about it: the shopkeepers, store owners, businesses, they're already collecting tax. They already collect sales tax. So if you dump the burden of tax collection onto them, instead of 150 million people worried about filing and paying taxes, you would reduce it. I read one statistic it said about 6 million would be about 6 million returns. You would wipe out 95% of all returns, and the revenue to the government would be easy, and you wouldn't have to worry about the IRS kicking in your door. You saved and invested, you wouldn't pay the tax, and when you consumed, you would. Everybody has to consume, so. Anyways.
Oh, yeah. No, you're right on. Well, you got 2 days, 8 hours, 24 minutes, 18 seconds till President's Week.
Well, I hope that a number of your, viewers might consider signing up. You'll get those Offshore Club perks. You can probably tell everybody again the easiest way to find the link. I think it's through the offshoreclub.com or offshore.club.
There you go. There you go.
That's right. You say it. I probably am not going to get it right. So
you got offshoreclub.club. That's right. Well, Joel, thank you very much. Thanks for the opportunity to catch up with you, understand how this is coming down to the wire for President's Week. We can't wait to talk to you afterwards and have some fun out in don't make it all work. Have a little bit of fun out in Vegas.
Well, it's pretty much work for me, but we'll make sure that everybody else that's there is having a good time.
Very good. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Brian. Good talking to you.
Thanks for joining Joel Nagel and the Global Wealth Fortress Report, a whole new approach to asset protection and estate planning so that now you can live the good life at a great price, where the sun never sets on your financial fortress.